Disciple is to discipline. Awesome play on words, but a powerful play on words, if we just think about it. Ever gently, beyond our sight, there plays a mystic tune, constant in its rhythm. To hear we must make room. Enchanting as the siren Ulysses struggled with. To let go of our perceptions, accepting what there is. This tune goes on forever, pervasive in all there is. People, places, and patterns change, though not this tune of his. To hear, we must make room. To hear, we must make room. See, we're the ones that have to make room for God in our life. No one can do it for us. And there's a lot of busyness going on in our life. There's a lot of past patterns and memory, and I know it going on in our life. So to begin to surrender, here's a little statement. Seeking God's will, even when we know how we've done it before. Surrendering. Seeking God's will, even when we know how we've done it before. Has anyone ever asked you to do anything? And, yeah, I know how to do that. I've done that before. 10 years ago. Another lifetime ago. And if we can just take a moment to just breathe, when we're asked a question, then we can maybe ask within, God, what's mine to do here? What is mine to do? See? And then, when we give, we're given from our highest and best. We're given in the present, we're not given from the past. It's important for us to be in the present. The songs today were awesome. We were called to new community. What a beautiful words to that song. A new way of living. A new way of living, a new way of relating to one another, seeing one another. A new way of loving. And we are truly called to a new community now. This church is a new community of fellowship as we begin to look at the teachings of the Christ from a different perspective. And then as we take the teachings into our minds, we begin to walk them in our lives. And that's where creation comes in. That's what creating a community is. A community isn't just thoughts and ideas and rules. It's the living of those higher laws. It's that living of the love that truly creates a community. And we have a wonderful community here at InterQuest, and the families and the churches and the people that are willing to step forward and to continue to grow and expand. So, discipline, I looked this up in the dictionary, so we'll get the dictionary definition of that. How's that? Discipline, training expected to produce a specific type or pattern of behavior. So we've all disciplined ourselves. We've had diets and disciplines because we want a different pattern to flow through our bodies. We go on mental diets and we let go of those things that don't serve us anymore. We're trying to grow and expand. Training that produces mental or moral improvement. Training that produces mental or moral improvement. And it's really powerful for us to continue our growth and unfoldment. And for the most part, when we start a new discipline, we're usually asked two things. To let go of the old and support the new. To let go of the old patterns and beliefs in the way that we've done it, and now make room for a new way of living, a new way of thinking, a new way of acting. So that takes discipline, doesn't it? Like if we're going on a diet and we go past Brewster's ice cream shop and it's 100 degrees outside, we got to keep driving. Or just go and get one scoop cup and not a triple cone. You see. Discipline. We begin to think about what am I choosing in my life, and then following up with action that'll support that new thought in our life. And then disciple, an active adherent of a movement or philosophy. And we know the disciples of Jesus the Christ. And he said, "Follow me." And they followed him. And then he asked them to let go. Let go of your old way of living. But more important than that, let go of your old way of thinking. You know? Then he asked them to surrender to God. Surrender to God, and then change. Change your behavior. Surrender unto God. See, Jesus in consciousness was taking them from being fear-based in their expression as human beings to love-based. And we see the world a whole lot differently when we're in a love-based perspective than if we're in a fear-based perspective. The new community that we're called to create and to live in is to be a love-based community. It's a community where we're going to begin to love and accept all manner of expression. I want to read, this is in chapter 33 in the Aquarian Gospel. And Jesus is in India and he's teaching. So he tells a parable. And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, "A certain man possessed a field. The soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide enough of food to keep his family from want. One day a miner who could see beneath the soil in passing on his way saw the poor man in his unfruitful field. He called the weary toiler and said, 'My brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and sow and reap in scanty ways, and day by day you tread upon the mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but if you will but dig away the rocky soil and delve down deep into the earth, you need no longer till the soil or not.' The man believed. 'The miner surely knows,' he said. 'And I'll find the treasures hid in my field.' And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth he found a mine of gold." Parables. An earthly story with a heavenly meaning to begin to understand. And we can look at ourselves. Aren't we all toiling in rocky fields sometimes? And don't we all just keep doing the same things over and over again because that's the way we were told to do it? That's the way we know how to do it? Even though the results aren't is what we'd like. The farmer was probably a good and honest and righteous man, and he'd been taught to be a farmer. Maybe he got that land from his dad. And that's what he knew how to do. And so he was doing what he knew how to do. But now we're being asked to take that next step. That maybe we don't have to work as hard as we used to have to work in the past. You know, we all ask for that, but when that opportunity presents itself, we fight it. We just don't think we deserve it because we're not working hard enough. We've got to let that go. That's the old community way of doing it. See, the new community, surrender to God, and allow that God from within to guide us and show us what is ours to do, what's our next step. And Jesus said, "The sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains and burning sands and rocking soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming they can do anything else." Not dreaming they can do anything else. And, you know, for thousands and thousands of years we've been in this ancestor worship pattern, looking back at what they did and then just perpetuating it instead of creating new, instead of dreaming and giving your Holy Spirit a chance to manifest and express on the planet. That's the new community we're called to begin to dream, have a dream, surrender to God, partner with God, and walk the walk to support that dream. "Behold, a master comes and tells them of hidden wealth, that underneath the rocky soil of carnal things are treasures that no man can count, that in the heart the richest gems abound, in the heart the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open up the door and find them all." The parables of the time were just life. All the parables, they might have been about a shepherd, a sheep, a farmer, a fisherman. That's what they did. And so we had to get their attention. Yeah, I've been out there in that field. It's not fun. Working from sun up to sundown and barely scratching a living. And then the master comes. Hey, there's a new way of living. There's a new way of living. You got to open up your heart, though. I'm going to ask you to do two things. I want you to look at God as your Father. And I want you to know that you're loved. Your Father loves you. Your Father wants good for you. See, He's moving race consciousness from fear. Fear consciousness. Instead of being a victim to life, you see, in fearing God, He's saying open up your heart to a loving God and become a co-creator with God. Create your dreams with God, with the Spirit of God within your heart, the light I am. Begin to go within and allow that energy to support us and feed us what we're doing. That takes discipline, because those past patterns are strong, are they not?
Yes.
Race consciousness isn't going to support the change. Spirit will. Spirit's going to support us. But race consciousness likes the familiar. Habits are good. Why are you rocking the boat? What do you want to do that for? Aren't you happy? See, if you say no to some of those, are going, you're crazy. Get out of here. You see, ostracized from the group. So, today, what are we to do today to join this new community of free thinkers, creator beings on the planet, spiritual beings? And this is what's really neat to look at, to begin to understand that if I want to discipline myself to the teachings of the Master, see, there it is, the Master comes and tells the man the treasures within each heart. That's why Jesus had more than 12 disciples. We hear about the 12 disciples, but there were hundreds of disciples. Why do you think when all the stories are walking around, there's just a crowd of people following from village to village, walking across the desert? Hundreds of people. They've been quickened. Their heart's been quickened to remember who they are, what they are. We're spirit. He's feeding them the food you know not. He's feeding their soul. He's giving them truth that they can dream, that they're more than the world tells them they are. And now, this is what you got to do. You got to discipline yourself. You got to start catching yourself. When you start going back that old way, follow the teachings of the Christ. Just like that miner was a master of the soil. And he says that farmer that didn't know anything about the soil, hey, there's minerals down there. The guy goes, he's a miner. He's a master miner. He must know. And he follows the guidance of the master miner, digs down, finds a treasure. And Jesus is the master teacher, teaching us the truth of who we really are, laws of the universe, and then how to act. How to act. What do we need to do? Follow me. Begin to follow the Christ within. Follow that inner guidance that we have. That inner guidance will never steer you wrong. Say, letting go. This is a big one. Letting go of our personalities. Say, let go. You're a spirit. You're a child of God. Now, I'm here in Wanda's son. But you see? Let go. Let go of your identity. Let go of the trappings of the world that define you. Instead of letting the world define you, go within your heart and be defined by Spirit, your higher self. Show that to the world. That takes discipline. It takes strength, and it takes courage. But if we surrender to God, God is that energy. It's always there. It's ever present. People, places, and patterns change, though not this tune of His. That's the constant. God is. That's the absolute truth. This is relative truth, Patrick. I'm spirit, absolute truth. Your body, your identity, your personality is relative. to this lifetime. The absolute truth, your spirit. This lifetime is important to honor who we really are, but to begin to honor the totality of who we are. Metaphysical. Meta, the other half. Physical, spiritual. Begin to acknowledge this spirit aspect I am, and then support it. Begin to support it. Begin to put ourselves in those experiences and opportunities that support our spiritual nature. We've got a lot of habits that really support our personalities and our materiality, our carnal nature. You see? So we might have to let some of those go to make room for spirit. To move into that love-based reality is what's going to allow us to grow and to take a chance on ourselves, to expand and to be the creator, you know. Always following guidance. What is mine to do, Father, will never steer us wrong. And when we do that, we're in the present. We're in the present moment. And that's where we are to be. When we begin to pay attention to the thoughts that we're holding, you know, what do I think about myself? How do I feel about myself? What do I think about someone else? How do I feel about someone else? Well, our inner thoughts and feelings create our outer environment and relationships. So it has a lot to do with it, to begin to pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that we have within us.